Where and how do you notice God at work? In your own life, in your own family, or around you, outside or in other ways? So where and how do you notice God at work? And if you're willing to share a little bit, that will help us all pay better attention to where we may notice God at work. So who is willing to share? Anne.
This is sort of a Father's Day story, but not about humans. A few weeks ago, we had a robin build a nest in the pear tree outside the kitchen window, so it was easy to watch what was happening. And one day we found a tiny little bird that had died laying on the floor on the ground below the tree. We thought, well, okay, that one didn't make it. Well, a couple weeks later, it was a really rainy Saturday, and here's this little robin running around on the ground. And Don and I looked at each other, we said, that robin's not gonna make it through the night, because we have many cats in our neighborhood that kind of prowl around looking for anything that moves. Next morning, there he was. He made it through the night. We didn't really notice him too much for a couple of days, and next time we saw him, he made it again, and he was bigger. And he actually could fly a little bit. And there's Mom and Dad feeding him, and he's running around. Another week goes by, and he's a pretty big robin by then, with his little spots on his chest. And we thought, okay, maybe this guy's gonna make it after all. And he was the only one that made it out of that nest. Another week went by, and I saw a commotion out in the yard, and the father robin was attacking the little robin, who was now bigger than him. And I thought, what are they doing? Well, it was time for the youngster to be on his own, and Dad was saying, okay, young guy, hit the road. It's time for us to have another nest. Moral of the story is, the little guy made it, and now he's one of the flock.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That the little guy made it. And that he had what he needed to make it, that support. Really heartwarming, thank you. Yes, Helen.
When I go to visit my mother at the nursing home, there's so many residents there that have dementia, and her roommate has dementia. And you walk into the room, and she's laying in bed, her roommate, and you think she's not paying attention. And you talk to her, and you see God's light in her eyes. And she smiles, and she talks, and you know God is still alive in these people. And it's so touching in my heart that it's amazing that even though they don't remember things every day, God is still with them, and in their hearts and in their eyes, and they still are people, and He's still with them.
You may see people declining in some way, physically or mentally in some way, but there is still a beauty and a wonder when they shine, when they smile, when their lives are witness to the living God. Thank you for sharing. Someone else? Yes, Linda. You, Eddie.
Good morning, Saints. My name's Eduardo Lugaro. I just moved into the area in Sillins Grove, and live on Orange Street right here, so real close to the church. But how and where and how I see and notice God working is in my wife. She's been through a lot, fighting all different types of cancer and in and out of the hospital. But I see God working in her because He has kept her. He has kept her and has given her the strength and the courage to carry on. And that's where I see God working.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And so glad that she also has you to support her in all of that and through the challenges. So thank you for sharing. Please keep paying attention. Someone else here? Someone else? Good. We're good. That's right. One more here. Tell you, you may go without my sermon because you preach. All of you preach. Barbie.
I help out at a pool, and the other day we had several frogs that were in the water. You know, with chemicals, they're not going to make it. So I picked up this one little frog, and it was gone. And I was going to put it into the plants. And this little girl came up and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, this little froggy didn't make it and he's going to heaven." So she said, "Can we say a little prayer for this little frog?" So I said, "Okay, we'll go over and put it underneath the flowers and we'll say a little prayer." She knelt down, bowed her head, and said the prayer. And I thought that was the most touching part of my day. So that's my frog story.
Thank you so much for sharing, and to see this beautiful devotion and reverence and connectedness to all of creation, that even the small frog is a gift, God's gift, and to pray for the frog. Thank you for sharing. Please pay attention to this coming week, where and how you notice God at work. And maybe one of the coming Sundays, you may be willing to share. Thank you.